What's going on, family? This is episode 40 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon. I am joined, as always, by Mr. What's Good himself, Israel.
What's good?
And you know we got a doctor in the house because we got Luke in the building.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
What is going on, fellas? Y'all know how we start this thing off? How y'all week been?
Man, I had a busy weekend, man. Busy weekend. A long Friday. Work Saturday. I think I went out Friday night. I don't know. It was so much that went on. It was like, yeah, I went out Friday night. Whole bunch of motorcycle stuff. Went out Friday night. What's good, Angela Adams? And then went to a motorcycle anniversary party. That was crazy. Jam-packed. Quite an experience. Then Saturday morning, I went to work. After work, I had a short day, did one load. Then I went to a parade that my club was in, way out up in Cartersville for Black History Parade.
How was the parade? Like,
that was pretty dope. It was Black History Parade walking downtown around the Cartersville square or something like that through they downtown area. You had a bunch of different, you had a band there, a couple of other Black motorcycle clubs, different businesses that was up in there, and they had a couple of little floats, and yeah, so it was nice. It was good for that city and for the time being. And after the parade, you know what? Dang, it was so busy. Saturday night, I went to an anniversary party. Friday night, I was chilling with my biker people. Saturday night was an anniversary party. And then Sunday, I had a biker meeting. And then I was just chilling at the spot where we be at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but in between, you had the parade and then work. And yeah, it was a busy weekend. And then work is Monday. What about you, Dr.
Luke?
Man, boy, I ain't get a chance to do as much as you did, Israel, but I was just working mainly, especially over the weekend, knocking over some things. Well, knocking out some things, I should say. So, had some business to handle, some very important business. So I got that taken care of. Really just getting through the week, just working mainly right now. Getting ready for the springtime coming up. Looking forward to it. And also getting ready for some birthdays. Both of my daughter's birthdays are coming up, so we since day one we've been adding fuel to the fire. So I would say I definitely added about at least 2 gallons of gasoline to it this weekend. So let's do it. Let's do it. What about you, Solomon, man?
Man, I've been grinding out here, man. I've been getting to the money. That's what I've been
Get
doing.
to the money.
I've been getting to the funyuns, the funyuns.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can have some funyun now, but
Okay.
You can't have no fun if you ain't got no money.
okay, yeah, we out here. Nah. No, I definitely been working, grinding, hey grandma. Oh, she spelled it wrong. Wait a minute. Hold on now.
Hold on, man.
Yeah.
Typo.
Yeah, so that's really what I've been doing. I ain't been doing much else actually. I just been, doing my thing, chilling, doing my thing. This is the last, week or the last Monday of February. So, I wanted to wrap up Black History Month with what was wrapped up this weekend, which is, the double NAACP Image Awards, right? So I want to talk about that today because that's pretty cool, for them to continue to have this thing going on. But before we get to that, I do want to talk about just a little bit of sad news. But before I get to that, I just thought about it. Shout out to all of the Coptic people who showed up to the Black Wall Street event this past Saturday who supported Queen Sarah and everybody else, all of the other vendors, the priestess Sapphira, all of the ones that came and worked diligently together, sold their products, and it was a lot of community going on. I really love to see that. I was not able to make it. Had a last minute emergency that I had to take care of down here in Atlanta, but definitely am happy to see that they are still thriving and striving and growing together as a community. So I wanted to definitely say that off the top. Did y'all want to say anything off the top before I get into the first topic?
No, it was good to grow together as a community because together everybody achieves more. Everyone achieves more together. I wasn't there for it, but I seen some pictures. Or actually, we might be showing y'all some pictures. So
Yeah,
I heard it was a pretty good success.
And then also to Faith Temple, definitely talking about the visionary ball that they had on Friday, which I thought was very nice. I seen a lot of pictures of that. If I was there, I would have dressed, I would have came and shut it down. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have came and shut it down, have my little you dig on. But definitely, like I say, want to give a shout out to that off the top for the Coptic Nation continuously trying to grow and continuously working together, showing their products and the community. That's what we're about here on the Pharaohs Podcast, growing and working with each other. I know some people they want to learn how to, and so this is an example. You know what I'm saying? This is an example, or one of the examples that we have that about working together. All right, fellas. So sad news. Over the last week, we lost somebody in the Black community, and that person is Notorious B.I.G. mother, Valletta Wallace. She passed at the age of 78 years old. And that's a big hit. That's a big hit to, the Wallace family and things of that nature. But just for a second, y'all, I don't know much about his mom, but I want to talk about like the dangers, right, of really making a difference in the Black community. And it could be from music to acting to whatever that you do, writing books or whatever that it is that you do. Notorious B.I.G. wanted to make a big difference in his family. And that's why he started rapping and things of that nature. I must warn us as a people that just because, we want excellence don't mean that people won't also want excellence for you. Okay? So be careful when you are letting your light shine, because some people want to dim your light on purpose. Now, granted, the sun shines no matter how we feel. But every once in a while, there's a cloud that like to block the sunshine.
Come to rain on the parade.
They come to rain on your parade.
The sun don't ask the stars to shine. It's going to do what it's going to do.
Exactly. So, fellas, what do y'all want to say real quick about Valletta Wallace and her passing?
I like the fact as a mother, she supported her son. Like she supported his music, and she really was grateful for the fact of, even though when he passed, the funeral shut down the city. It was like she still heard her son, heard him in the music, they bumping his music, and she was grateful for that moment. And in order for somebody, I said this before, if you want somebody to live, keep them alive, you talk about them. You play their music. You keep them relevant to the conversation. Because if you keeping them relevant, they always gonna be alive. Their spirit gonna live forever. Live.
Hey, I like that Ghostface shirt you got on.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with both of you fellas. My take on the whole thing is, I mean, there's so many ways I can go into it. Um, when it came to that era of hip hop, one thing that Notorious Big was, he was somebody that was able to tell his story, and then of course, the poetry side of his music was big. But I've always liked the comeback story. I've always liked the um the ability in order to hop into the market. And a lot of people would say, well, the music is that they said this, that, and the third. Or even now, we look at how we as black people, how we attack the United States market is different than how Jewish people do. We have people in real estate? Absolutely. Do we have people in all industries just like there are people in the medical industry, like the Indian community is heavily in the medical industry? Every community finds areas. One thing we've always been good at is the entertainment side. And we know entertainment is necessary because entertainment brings about travel. It brings about a worldwide commerce of people wanting to come and spend money in our country. So I've always looked at their situation a little different because I never downplayed the fact that, they were into the music side of what basically America had to offer. They found their piece of the pie. That's what it was all about. And we've always been very musically and artistically inclined type of people. So I remember Solomon and I was having this conversation. I expect the artist to be the artist. It's supposed to be a passion behind it. It's supposed to be opportunities created behind it. And we live in a market now to where a lot of them paved the way for a lot of younger artists to come through and make good livings for themselves. That's what I always think about at the end of the day when it comes to when it comes to people like Notorious B.I.G. or even when it came to Tupac, even when it came to the feud between West Coast and East Coast, there was a marketing tool behind it. Do I agree with everything? Absolutely not. But that's sometimes the gray area between um, conquering. When you're trying to conquer something and you're conquering the industry, unfortunately, there are going to be casualties on the way. And you want to find a way to minimize that as much as possible until you get an even ground of society. So now we look at it in 2025, how music is played out. Wars and beefs are not as serious like they used to be, unless you're just like in like the drill hip hop community, unless you're in a real hardcore hip hop community. Now, most of the time, most of the feuds are they just made in order to make it's business. It's business. Half the time they're not even mad at each other. They're literally planning on, oh yeah, because we're gonna drop this and we're gonna drop that. So, it's interesting how the game can kind of change. And I know if he was alive, and I mean, I know his mother was able to kind of she was able to get a chance to see the shift of hip hop, and how it's kind of really been mold itself now into a really lucrative financial asset to a lot of black families. I mean, you gotta admit it. Music has fed a lot of black people in ways that they never thought that they were going to be able to eat. So if you're able to take your craft and you're able to express it to the world, they should pay you because you're entertaining them. Like I always say on my famous saying, we just on a floating rock in the middle of nowhere. Okay, you're gonna need something to do. So, shout out to her. Shout out to her for having her sons back. And all the adversities he went through. Even when again, remember he was selling drugs at one point. So he really had a comeback story. He's like, man, ain't no real money in that. I'd rather go out and entertain people and make music. Then I ain't got to look over my shoulder trying to figure out, this, that, and the third, but I'm still able to eat. At the end of the day, we all trying to eat well. So shout out to him, paved the way. I turn it back over to y'all.
Well, I definitely Biggie was, they still play his music, especially that Hypnotized song. Biggie, Biggie,
Yeah,
Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. They still play that.
every morning on the radio.
They still play that. So I'm definitely like you, Israel, like the backing of his mom played a big part of his success.
Man, mama backing you, that's all you need. Mama gonna drive that train. Like, man, when you got your mom or you got just a mother figure or some type of woman pushing you, telling you to go and approval. Because it's like the first approval you want really is like your parents' approval, whether it's your mom's approval or your dad's approval. And that approval gonna drive you 10 times more. It's gonna make you better. And you're gonna like it more. I'll be like, oh yeah, my mom's she down with it, she approves, she accepted, she helps, and she's helping you progress. Like she helping fund you, whether it was funding you or bring you ideas or show you stuff. Like, man, that remind me of how my mama helped me with a lot of stuff, or she approved, helped me, whether it was like when I was playing chess, she was taking me there, or where it was like the sports, my people showed up, or they talk about the shoes or what I needed and the uniforms, and then from there with the books, what you gonna write, and it's like you got people that help you with your vision, with your plan, and they support you. That's gonna make the journey of whatever it is you doing 10 times better.
Yeah, facts. And behind every great king, you're gonna find a great counsel. That's just always. That's the way
True.
it works. What really makes a great king, or anybody that's trying to rule something or trying to rule their life in a well way, you look at how a lot of the hip hop artists do, including when they came, to other hip hop artists, including Notorious Big. They were good at putting they would take counsel, but then they would implement it with a team that's around them. That's your wolves. That's your army. And if you able to govern them in a way that's necessary, you go back to your counsel when you need that wisdom. There's certain things your boy is not gonna be able to give you. So you have to respect the fact that he understood that was who his mother was for him. That was the one that was gonna give him, you wrong, no, you right. Now I ain't gonna embarrass you in front of public, but I'm gonna tell you how it is in front of your face. And you
Right.
take the information and you go back out and you do what's necessary. So, a lot of times that's when they say living off a mother's prayer. A lot of times, a lot of us are because it's the wisdom that's given to us in the long run. It may not hit until 10, 15 years later. But when it hit, you be like, I see what they were saying. I see how I should move
Right.
about this situation. So,
I agree. I agree with y'all. I, I as a rap, I feel like I'm the one who listens to the most rap on the podcast.
That's
Um, Notorious B.I.G. Wait, what was that? What was that? I ain't catch
I said that's crazy, but okay.
it.
I
I
ain't gonna
mean, I'm in tune. I'm in tune with the culture. You
Yes.
ain't even. I had to tell you what Ria's was.
What? What is red? I forget what that is.
But no, for real though. When it comes to the to Biggie and that whole beef with him and Tupac, I don't we're not gonna really speculate for real right now, but like, do y'all really think that was a whole situation where Diddy want to get rid of Biggie and get his rights and his royalties and all that stuff?
Leading with that, I say yes.
You'll say
The
if
yes.
you
diddler
you was to ask me
wanted to
this
take him
question,
out. The beef was a part of business. It was good for business. But the diddler, definitely.
yeah, if you was to ask me this question 10 years ago, I'll be 50-50, but now I'll say 80-20. I feel more likely that he did.
That's
Just from,
crazy.
I mean, you
Just
gotta
because
look at
he
what's going on.
just because he got listen, just because he been a diddler don't also mean that he's a thief. No, I don't know. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
That ain't what I'm coming from though, because we got to think about it. That Cassie situation with him
it made everything else seem more likely. Why? Because after that situation at the hotel, he was able to leave like nothing happened. You didn't even hear about it for what, over a year or so. So when someone can keep that type of mask on, oh my goodness, like that probably is just lightweight compared to the stuff he really dealt with. And remember, we talking about people that was actually in the street for real. Like I say 80-20, 80-20 for me.
Okay, I get you. Well, let's talk about the next thing. What we really came here for. I want to talk about the NAACP. And for our viewers out there, okay, who don't know what it is, okay, the 56 NAACP Image Awards honors outstanding representations and achievements of people of color in motion pictures, television, music, and literature during the 2024 calendar season. Okay. The National Association for the Advancement of Color People is an American civil rights organization that was formed in 1909 to advance justice for African Americans. That included the group of W.E. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and more. For the people who probably don't remember, because this is so old. This is from the 1900s where it really started, but 56 years later, they wanted to, have these image awards, and we have some of the winners of what they categories were. They had a category of Entertainer of the Year. Keke Palmer won that. The Hall of Fame award. The Wayans family won that award. I actually have a clip for that. The Best Actor in a Motion Picture was won by Martin Lawrence for Bad Boys, Ride or Die. The actress for motion picture was won by Kerry Washington. The 688, which is a film that is on Netflix. Did y'all get a chance to watch that?
No, I haven't gotten a chance. I got to find somebody Netflix, because apparently Netflix is getting high. So I hear they up to like $42 or $17. I don't know what that person got. Netflix for $42 is crazy. Like, I don't know who all on their stuff. The last person I checked, they was like $17. And no, long story short, no, I ain't got around to it yet. You catch me on Amazon Prime. I'm gonna see if it's there.
The Best Actor in a Drama Series was won by Ghost's son, Tariq. I don't know if y'all watch Ghost and Power. I'm definitely a fan of that.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
The Jennifer Hudson Show won Best Talk Series. And Queen Latifah won for Best Actress in a series for The Equalizer, which I have been watching on Netflix. And last but not least, the person that y'all was riding the dime for a couple weeks ago. Okay.
Oh, snap. Who was that?
Beyonce won album for Cowboy Carter.
That's Big B. You better put some respect on it. The Hive gonna come.
You talking about God? That was Israel. I was thinking
y'all was riding the die for y'all. Act like y'all was in the beehive.
No. That was Israel. Israel was going hard. he said, get it right.
That's Beyonce.
That's who? That's Beyonce?
That's Beyonce.
Y'all, you can have her. You can definitely have her. I got my theories on Beyonce. I don't want us to get canceled though. I'm gonna leave it alone. They gonna come running. All the people that ain't been watching gonna watch this. Wait a minute, who is this guy on the internet talking about Beyonce, the Queen Bee? The Queen Bee. But anyway, before I get into I got some questions, but I'm gonna show just this small little clip of the Wayne's family getting a Hall of Fame award at the NAACP Image Awards. Okay. So let's just follow this real quick. There's no backup plan and success.
I like
Woo!
that. Dang.
All right, fellas. I just wanted to let's just go off the top first. My first question would be, well, how do y'all feel about, of course, the NAACP? I know we learned about this growing up in school and things of that nature, and I know we at a different time, and I'm definitely gonna go in about this. We at a different time right now, so people don't really know too much or really care about the NAACP too much. And then the second thing is, how do y'all feel about the Wayne's family, getting recognized, all together? I know people be talking about all of the brothers, like Damon and his son that was on the stage. Sean was not there. I don't think he was on stage, but Marlon Wayans was talking. And their sister Kim, that we don't really know about that much. A lot of people don't know that she's a writer and things of that nature. So y'all could tackle one question at a time. One about the NAACP and the other about the Wayans family.
All right. I didn't watch the awards, but I believe it's a great award show to have for us Black people, for our Black people in this present day, in this present world. And what I can say about the family, I was just thinking, because I talked about this with some other people before, where it's like, yo, that is the biggest that I know a Black family in Hollywood. I don't know which one. I don't know if Keenan put one on and then the rest of the family came on, but you got the whole family, which I didn't even know they was related until it was like, oh, they got a brother, they got another brother. It's 5 of them. There's 6 of them.
Yeah, that's what they was talking about. They was talking about Keenan. They was talking about their beginnings. When he went to Hollywood first.
Yeah, and I like that's how it should be. Like with life and in business, if you got your people, well, especially your family, because one thing, my family from the ones I came out the same womb with, or the ones I grew up with, we at 818, or we was on the north side or something like that. Like everybody should put somebody else on. Like you get there and then you put the other brother on, and then the other brother on. It's like a chain, a recycling machine of success. Especially ain't nobody doing that. And that leads me to another successful family. An American gangster, Frank Lucas, put on his family. Even though it was drugs, he put on the family. And you need that one. All you need is one. You need one to put on for the family. And then it's like opening the door, the floodgates of success. It's going to be there. But everybody else got to be on board too. So, yeah, the individuality is there. It can be there, but it got to be like, yo, you don't have to be a comedian. You could be an actor, but this is going to help you. I'm going to help you get there. You just got to get there, and then the rest is up to you. And I like how he did that for his family. How the family, that's a successful Black family. I'm sure that they are wealthy because I've seen them. We've seen them in multiple shows, multiple movies, and different events. And I'm sure they breaded. Their pockets is breaded. I ain't watching, but I'm sure it's breaded at that point in time. And that's what we must do for our people. Like if you doing what you doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and then you figure out, yo, these people looking for more authors is real. Yo, come check it out at least. And with that, bringing people along. It was something I talked about in one of my own videos. I was like, if you the horse, I got to bring you to the water. Then you supposed to drink, and you don't drink, I'm going to make you drown in it, okay? I'm going to make you drown because you're supposed to be drinking. This is the way. You're supposed to be drinking. Now I'm going to make you drown. And the drowning could be the drowning success or the drowning while I'm dragging you. Like I just had to do that to one of my trucker buddies. He told me about this opportunity. I went, looked it out, applied, took the drug test because it made sense to me. And I'm hitting him up. I'm like, yo, You the one who told me about this. So, you know, we had our conversation, and based off his situation, I'm like, this would be the best thing for you to do. If this is what you're looking for, you got to make the jump. He went ghost. He went ghost face on me somewhere. He went ghost for a couple of days because he wasn't answering. So I sent the text message, make the jump. And that's what people got to do. Make the jump for your people. You need one. All you need is one. And then that'll open up the floodgates. But that's my 10 on that. That's my my 69 cents of my yeah, that's my money on that. What so say you, Luke?
Nah, man, I feel you. I feel where you coming from, but I'm gonna throw a little wrench in it a little bit. So when it yeah, just a little bit, because I got to be real. You know, that's my thing. When it comes to the Wayans family, well, I start out with the awards. I agree, like you said, it's a great time. We should always do as much as we can to celebrate, and not only celebrate, we should monetize and publicize when we celebrate, and we celebrate each other, because it's a way of making money. You got to think about how many people I paid when it comes to the back crew, the light people, all the opportunities just from that one show alone. So we are supposed to participate in things like that as well, because it's a good way for us to be able to expand and to get the word out about other artists and people who are doing great works. Now, when it comes to that family, when it comes to the Wayans family, they and like some other families, there are certain Black families, and I'm gonna go here with it because it's a little different when you're dealing with us. It's usually a common denominator when you're dealing with high successful families, okay? And what I've come to find to be the common denominator most of the time is their work ethic. I don't even think it was just them getting put on. It was literally the fact that they are known for being some of the hardest working, longest stand up comedians as far as the family is concerned.
Yeah, that's what you need.
But then think about that. This is why I say if you was to do an experiment, if I was to take this into my lab, I would say to myself, well, let me look down history timeline. Let me think about other successful Black families. Most of them, the common denominator is that usually, like we were talking about earlier, that counselor, that mother, that father. Let's talk about the Jacksons. Same thing. Now, for the Jacksons, their story is a little different because they weren't necessarily hard-working young kids. Their father trained them to be the hardest working young kids.
Yes.
But they had one. They had one.
Now that's more on the extreme side. But let's also go to the subtle side. Let's talk about the Marley family. The Marley guys. You see what I'm saying? But
who's the Marley?
All of these families, all of these sons and daughters are workaholics. I mean,
who's the Marley family?
Putting in more hours than anything. So it's to me, it's like finding a billionaire when you find a family like that. That something, whether it's in their genetic bloodline, whether it's their work ethic, from maybe the way, when it comes to the Waynes, maybe it was the way they was raised by their mother, about having certain order in their life. And this is why I say success is like, it's at most of our hands. The problem is the discipline. And usually people that are very disciplined with their career, with their goals, what they want, and they're willing to take risk, like he said, because he had to take a risk. He had to drop everything he was doing, and he had to go and do it. And even Mama was like, "Boy, what you doing?" He like, "Hey, I gotta do what I gotta see. I gotta see if the water hot or cold. We'll never know, and let somebody go and see." But that's a lot of the story for a lot of the artists back then. It was someone that just was like, you know what, I'm gonna move to Hollywood, or I'm gonna move to Las Vegas. Nowadays, I'm gonna move to Atlanta. I'm gonna move to Miami. You know, there's always places where people are going and they're taking leaps in order to create a career. Right. But in my mind, nowadays, the person who works the hardest is usually going to get that apple at the end. Whether you the most talented or not, to me, ain't even a question no more. It's about the work ethic, because we got so many people trying to do the same thing and that are good at the same thing. So it ain't even so much, are you a good singer? It's like, are you a singer that's gonna go and call people to get gigs, and you're gonna make the connections, you're gonna go to the events, you're gonna go even when you're not invited to try to get in the rooms. What you want, like I say, when it came to their family, what other comedians want, they probably were willing to do more in order to get it. And that to me looks like a structure that was built within their family. But like I say, from the Marleys to the Jacksons, and I'm pretty sure I can keep finding other families to where when that work ethic is established, it is like a snowball that goes down the hill. It just keeps getting bigger, and it keeps getting better, and it keeps getting bigger, and it keeps getting better. And who else did we see trying to do the same thing with his bloodline? LeBron James.
It is LeBron James. You got the Ball family.
He's trying to do what Joe Jackson did.
And the Ball family.
The Ball family.
So yeah, that's my take on it. They are a unique family, hardworking young men. They are very funny, but I've always known them since I was like in like middle school. I was always knowing them to be like some of the hardest working comedians because they were on everything. They were on stuff, and you would just be like, how are you doing that? And you doing that? You got a movie coming out. Then one brother will do a whole series. And then like in episode 3 or 4, you'll see another brother pop in to help his brother out. Now he a character, bro. They was just working their land. So shout out to them because they still a black family. And they also prove the fact we are not lazy. It's just some of us want it more than others. And depending on how bad you want it, will determine on how you able to allow your bloodline to carry on. But I'm pretty sure that Wayne's family is going to be good for some centuries, probably, the money that they sitting on. They're going to be all right. If one fall, the other one probably can catch the other one until they get back on.
So, absolutely.
And you know mama's sitting good. If mama's still in the land of the living, you know she been sitting good. She probably be at church like, yeah, that's my babies. Coming in there with the big hat on. Big hat. My son bought me this hat, girl. Let me tell you. You know how they do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want their mama to be like that. Taken care of. Retire her. Then you hear what he was saying. When something would break, it became something else. They came from poverty. So it probably was the mindset of, I want to change. I want to do better and see better. So, you know, shout out to them. Shout out to them and their family, man.
Yeah. Man, all it takes is that just one, man. That one.
Yeah, that one.
That one that's gonna change the family tree.
I was gonna say, because you just tapped into something that I was gonna talk about with the whole thing. First of all, let me get into some of the successful movies. We got Major Payne, of course.
Yeah.
We have Mo Money. We have Blank Man. Then we have some of the what do they call them? The parodies, right? You got 50 Shades of Black. You know what I'm saying? You got Don't Be a Menace to South Central, while you know that whole title. You got Low Down Dirty Shame. You got the Scary Movie franchises.
Yeah.
You got White Chicks. You got Little Man, and on and on and on. There's so many successful movies. There was a movie on Netflix called Sextuplets that Sean did. He said in an interview that he played all of the characters. He was like, I was working so hard, I didn't get no sleep. I was getting like maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep a day because I had to continue to go to change and makeup and wardrobe to play all these different characters. He was like, man, I was so exhausted after that movie. He's like, but our work ethic, like how you saying, Israel Luke, the work ethic of the Wayne's brothers didn't, match other people. Yeah, they had their first brother that went there and tried some things out. Supposedly, he made Marlon and Sean and all them rewrite different movies. Shows like the Wayans brothers, shows like My Wife and Kids. They have a show now with Damon's son on CBS right now called Papa's House. So they're continuously evolving, even still being relevant in today's time from the early 2000s, late 90s, all the way till now. That is hard.
Yeah,
that is hard in show business, and still try to be true to yourself. And then I like the fact that they finally, their sister is getting a lot of her flowers now too, as being a show writer, as being one of those behind the scenes people who help push the narrative and and their shows to the forefront. Hey Ruby.
Hey, what's up, little sis?
What's good?
So like I definitely wanted to talk about that part, right? Because I've been listening to a few interviews and how things are going, like how you said, coming from poverty, right? They had said they saw, as you continue to listen also to their speech, they said they went to California, went to LA to see their big brother Keenan, and they thought because they seen him on TV, oh, they rich now and all this stuff. He said they got there. He said they made them sleep on a waterbed, you know, when they came in town and stuff like that, because they thought, they like, oh snap, he on TV now, he didn't made it and all this stuff. And he was letting his brothers know, like, no, it's still a work in progress. And as he continued and wrote another film, he started putting his brothers in it. But he didn't just put them in it, he made them earn it. He made them earn it. Like, no, you're going to go through the audition and you're going to act. But before we put you in this movie, I need you to study some of comedy. I need you to listen to the older people like Richard Pryor and all the people that came before their time. And as Luke said, like, it's the person who worked the hardest. So if you're not studying what's in what you want to do, how you gonna be the greatest at it? I was talking about this earlier. You have to study great people in order to be great. Like, you just don't be like, I'm born, I do what I want to do, and there's nobody but before you that ever mentored you, somebody you ain't never look up to. That's not realistic. You have to study great people to be a great person. If you want to be a humanitarian or whatever you want to be, you need to understand how that works. If you want to learn how to, you know, be a great friend, look at people who got some friends that's loyal, that's true. Like, there's things you have to mimic. You can't just come up with stuff and be like, oh, I got it. No, you can't do that. You have to actually go into what your field is that you want in your life to actually you be like the vision that you have for yourself. You got to look at the people who did it before you. You have to look at what people did before you, so you can understand the do's and don'ts and see the mistakes that they made. So I like that they, you know, not only putting his family on to be successful, but he also made them work for it. Shawn Wayans actually went to college first before he became a comedian and an actor.
That's dope. Dedication and discipline.
So it's not just, oh, let me just go follow my brother to Hollywood so he can take care of me. Yeah, he took care of you, but he made you qualify yourself first. So I love that. And I also want to say about the NAACP, right? This was the other thing I want to hint on before we continue the conversation. And that is, when it comes to the NAACP, I feel like more people should know about what has happened in history before, so we don't repeat ourselves or make the same mistakes, and do what they did and make it better. Okay. I was listening to Dr. Umar. He was talking on a podcast and he's talking about how there aren't any civil rights leaders because we're not in that time anymore, but also because there's not a lot of Dr. Umars. So he's saying, I know it sucks that maybe there's a lot of people there's a lot of intelligent brothers who might be able to talk to the people and might be able to uplift the people and might be able to actually liberate the Black people. But because they might not have a degree or something like that, it kind of hinders them for having the audience that they need, right? So he said, well, it's one of me, but I need more of me's in order for the revolution or the movement to actually be successful. I really liked him saying that. But he also said that what it is now is influence. So the artists, the rappers, the actors, and all of the basketball players, he said they are supposedly now are in 2025 the so-called leaders, but they're not acting like the leaders. The world or the people is focused on the athlete and the rapper and all of this stuff, but nobody is focused on the educated brother who's actually a 2025 version of Malcolm, or the 2025 version of Martin, or the 2024 version of Frederick Douglass. He was saying that there is the version that we're trying to have isn't around because we have the people distracted with the athletes and the rappers and the basketball players and the football players and all that stuff, and they're not going to speak up because of course, contract, of course, of losing so much money and the wealth of their family.
And they're not gonna speak up because of the fear of getting killed. Because every black leader, they just shot him down. You know, Malcolm X, you know, Martin Luther King. Who else? Who else got shot down? What's his name? Black Panther leader. What's his name?
Huey P. Newton.
Yes. They shot him down. All the greats. Somebody killed him. You know, yeah, I'm gonna just say that.
But then I will ask you though, Israel. So we just gonna be scared our whole life as a black man? I'm supposed to live in fear because my ancestors died for a purpose. So now I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not going to stand up and be like what I admire. Like I always tell people, we mimic what we actually like, right? Mm-hmm. So we all grew up in church. We think powerful men are the leaders who came before us. We mimic, or we like the image of what King and what X and what Newton and what all of them brothers had came before us had already did. That's attractive to us. That's, you know what I'm saying? That is what we like as what we want to be. We consider ourselves a voice of our time. So do that mean we supposed to stop the podcast because we speaking truth on it? We scared to get heard or something like that? Like that is what Umar was saying. Dr. Umar was saying, he's like, wow, I just need more of me out here, but I feel comfortable. He was saying, I feel comfortable in the hood because I know that them gangbangers and them drug dealers, they got the guns to fight against whatever that's going to be happening. I feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, with he's not scared of his people. He's not scared of his people. So he's like, I feel comfortable with these things. So I'm not going to worry about it. So I just wanted to say, like, when it comes to the NAACP, we're not talking about it as much as we're supposed to because we're talking about
sports,
the other things,
the things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm to say.
I'm gonna throw my 3 cents in it, and then I'm gonna make everybody mad, and then leave it alone. I think you know we had this conversation before. No one, even Malcolm X talked about this. Expecting entertainers to be black leaders is injustice to the entertainers. They didn't sign up to be black leaders. Now, Dr. Umar would say probably, well, you represent the race. You are, you have influence. And I can understand where he's coming from. But I think the reason that the attention is being put on a lot of the athletes, the artists, and people in the movie industry and things like that is not so much of just the aspect of chasing your dreams anymore. It doesn't feel like that as much. It feels as if there is a survival type situation going on. So what people are now, what they're doing now, they're looking on their phone, they're looking and they're scrolling and they're saying, I don't have nowhere near what I could have. And this becomes the issue when you're dealing with the free market, when you're dealing with commerce and you're dealing with business and sales. When you add the cell phone and technology to the fact of everything that you're doing, you're able to constantly see how what you say you want, you're not putting as much energy as the other person. Or you see someone living a lifestyle that you may say, hey, I want that, right? But in a lot of ways, our Black leaders, when they didn't portray that as much in a lot of areas. Like, we knew them to have money, but the fights were a little different than just financial stability and being able to survive. It was like literally being able to walk out your door. The fight was a little different. So to me, that kind of, to me, would make a lot of sense that a lot of people are looking towards the wealth, not wealth like money, but wealth being you can do what you want to do. It's kind of like the Matrix conversation, but on the Black people scale is actually bigger, because we've been feeling like we've been in the Matrix a lot longer than everybody else. Now everybody else starting to feel like they in the Matrix and that they're a part of a program. We've been feeling like that. So when we see another Black man or another Black woman able to do what they want, eat what they want, live comfortably, drive the car that they want, it may not be what you want, but it's what they want. I think that's what a lot of the Black youth are homing in on, is the fact that this person looks like me, but they don't hate their life. Most people are unhappy. They don't like what they do for a living. They don't like the situation they're in. They don't like where they live. And then if we was to put it down to our community, that heightens to how people actually feel. So then you give them a cell phone. Now you in the hood, but you got a cell phone. So you got roaches crawling next to you, but you able to see this person looking beautiful. They got beautiful teeth. They got the finest of this. They got the finest of that. Psychologically, we didn't deal with that back in the 60s and 70s. Everybody wasn't walking around with a newspaper all day long scrolling through the newspaper. So you only can hear about those high-level people, the oil guys. And even then, it seemed so out of reach, it didn't really make sense to be a problem. It's not as out of reach now. And I think that plays a part into what it is. So you had people like Umar, to me, which kind of created a balance, because he has his swag, he has his style. He's created a business. Here we go, back again to commerce now. He created a business off of teaching, off of doing interviews, off of doing seminars. So he's been able to eat and live comfortably, by the way. I'm pretty sure he's not behind on any bills. That alone, when you're talking to young Black people, it's like, wow, I wonder what that's like. So the dichotomy is so far that it's almost easier to live in La La Land and just say, you know what, I just want to get rid of this. I don't want to be the person working a 9 to 5 forever, being miserable like my mama was, or my granddad. I don't want to do that. So they're looking at the ones who are actually having that bling bling. So I think it's about just creating a bridge, like being able to show that even in the liberation and even in the upliftment of our people, if the riches is what they want, what we always saying on this podcast is that it's right there. The door has been open. Now the problem we're dealing with is getting with the psychological mindset of telling our hand to stop reaching, because there comes a strain when you reach. It's like it takes energy to reach. It takes trying and failing, like we was talking about with the Wayne brothers. My thing is for our young Black people is if that's what you want, if you're looking at the athletes, you're looking at the artists and all that, be real with yourself and understand what you're asking for. Your liberation is if you're trying to get out the matrix, if you're trying to live a better life or change your bloodline and liberate your family and liberate, because every Black family that's liberated financially is changing the direction of the Black families in America, period. Meaning you got a better shot at the table with everybody else. It may be 3-4 generations down the line. So we see that that's something that's very important. I think it's just about creating a bridge that brings that gap together. When Marcus Garvey came, and I ended with this. When Marcus Garvey came, Marcus Garvey was powerful because he was financially able to get the mission done. We always skip over that part as Black people a lot of times. Them leaders were financially backed, meaning there was somebody willing to write checks for Martin Luther King. There was someone willing to write checks for Malcolm X, because it takes money in order to finance the movement. Right now, it seems like we're drowning so much, everybody's just trying to grab the money. They're like, hey, if we make it to the promised land, we make it. But if we don't, we don't. I don't know. That's just how it come off to me. So that's my take on it. Yeah, go ahead. Because I'm long-winded. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what do y'all think about? Because I like that. I like what you said. Like everybody, you're trying to get the money first and stuff like that. What do y'all say about the fact that it actually came out that Martin Luther King cheated on Coretta Scott King, but she never exposed it? Supposedly, was it Edgar Hoover? Actually sent a lot of audio recordings of Martin Luther King with other women.
Yeah, I never really cared too much about
What's
that.
the question?
What's
the question again?
I said, I said, what do y'all think about that? That she didn't even say anything. Like she never destroyed her husband's legacy, knowing that they had audio proof of him having an affair.
Because it was irrelevant. It's like, what's going on in your house? Why are you trying to tell the world? That's the problem with people today. They want to tell the world they baby daddy sleeping with their girlfriend and the baby mama. And like, why does that matter? Like, I don't care. It don't matter. It ain't dipping in my pocket. Like,
look, we weaker
it
nowadays.
doesn't matter.
She wasn't. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw that at her, trying to use it as a sabotaging thing to break his character.
It was.
Yeah.
So if they did that, mind you, and then again, this is a different generation of black women. See, they dealt with stuff for real.
Oh,
even in my own, even in my own life, bro. I found out I had an uncle on my grandfather's deathbed. Okay, so like that generation back there is a little different. So it wasn't so much I'm breaking the family up just because I found out you got a mistress. They weren't doing that like that. It wasn't like that. And then again, like Israel said, her husband was so important. She probably in her mind, she's like, I ain't finna, y'all, I know what's going on.
Right.
Y'all want me to sabatage the movement. You know what I mean?
She seen it a mile away.
They wanted to sabotage the movement.
Yeah. She seen it a mile away. And then back then, I'm sure it was part of the culture. I don't condone what I'm about to say at all. But back then, they did a lot of five finger to the face type thing. They smack a woman and, the biscuit's too hard or something like that. There ain't no jelly up in here. That's what they did back then. It was a part of the culture. So he could have been like, so what? You could get the five finger to the face. I don't know. People are different in their house with their women than they is outside. But that's irrelevant because what goes on in your house and their house should stay in the house.
Yeah, they was trying to use that to blackmail them.
It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, that's what they was using it for.
That's between them two. It's like that. That's the problem with society. They want to tell everybody who doing who. Like it's gonna put money in my pocket.
But they definitely do that with the black leaders, which, like Solomon said, it may not even just be the contracts that they worried about losing. You got to think about the mental hit to the brand that it takes.
Everybody perfect. Like,
yeah,
that's like
Marcus Garvey tried to commit suicide multiple times because they had his people going against him. And when you say a revolutionary, like what Umar talking about, Marcus is going to always come to mind. Because when you listen to Marcus Garvey's speeches, he was the definition of, I don't care what come out of my mouth. I'm going to tell you how it is. He told us about ourselves. He told other people about themselves. But then he would come back and tell us about ourselves. Y'all lazy. Right. Y'all want this, y'all want that, but you don't want to do nothing for yourself. He was like one of the first black people in media to cuss black people out. And then say, all right, now that I'm done cussing you out, come on so we can go and get this situation handled. So, it's a different day and time now. They don't want to say nothing. They just like,
Right. It's sad. I mean, people, it's like everybody want to be grown until it's time to make decisions. So it's time to talk about stuff.
But hold on.
Yeah, you can't talk about it.
Wait. But what about
you do what they just did?
Though? Because they didn't cancel Childish Gambino.
No.
When you know why? This is America.
You know why?
No, they didn't.
Because he's still in a pocket. He's still in the pocket. It's like you got the tokens, right? You got the token light skin, the token house, You got the tokens. That
What you
even at
gonna
my
say,
job.
house nigga?
Oh yeah, yes, you got them tokens. Even at my job, because I like you got people that's favorites. He is somebody's pocket, whether we know it or not. Somebody, I mean, he's still doing something on the back end. Who you know how Hollywood is? You know, they do the butt breaking or the back breaking and the casting couch. Who knows what videos he got? And they just let him reign because he might be the one that they go to. But the crazy part is, I would just say that, yeah, he is somebody's pocket. Somebody, he doing something for somebody still.
This is crazy.
I'm gonna say that he doing something for somebody. I'm gonna say that.
I also want to touch on before we move on, Luke, what you said about the importance of the father bringing out the best out of their children, and you gave the example of Joe Jackson. Gave the example of LeVar Ball, all three of his sons, even though the middle one had gotten in trouble in China, now he is a successful millionaire rapper. All three of his sons, he have made millionaires, well, helped them be millionaires, all three of them. The other examples that you were using for like the Marley brothers and stuff like that, we got to understand the importance of what discipline a father gives to children. And I think that's what we're missing right now when it comes to our world, is that they're thinking that the father may be too hard or toxic masculinity, but there's a certain type of discipline a man brings to a household, which made me remember what the Queen was talking about yesterday at church about, you know, getting rid of the firstborn sons, right? Woo! Had that trying to get rid of these
firstborn.
Trying to get rid of the firstborn sons and trying to take out that discipline and structure that a man puts into the household. I think we forgot that. I think as Americans, Black people, we're too busy doing the gender war stuff that was set up by the powers that be that rule America and has its policies in place to continuously manipulate and divide us, right? We keep forgetting that what the purpose of the Black man or the man in the house is for. Joe Jackson is a bad example because he was abusive. But
Joe Jackson is LeVar. That's his sons, right?
The Ball brothers.
Yeah.
So he got.
Okay, so you got another Joe Jackson. That's the Jacksons,
right?
Don't name It's something about the Joe Jackson. Okay, they gonna be abusive at this point. They gonna be abusive because
LeVar Ball is the father of Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo.
Okay, but you said Joe Jackson and then went to
right. I was talking about the fathers. I was talking about the fathers. The importance of
you seen what he did to Michael on camera with the belt to make him hit that.
Like I say, so like he was a kind of a bad example because he turned his discipline into abusiveness, which nobody condones. But the fact that they push their children into greatness, like LeVar Ball, ESPN was literally having this man have interviews. He was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, all types of stuff. He's on TV saying, my son Lonzo Ball, because that was the first one. He said, my son Lonzo Ball is going to be a better point guard than Magic Johnson. He's going to be a better player than Michael Jordan. He was talking and hyping his son up so much that the Lakers was like, we got to draft him. And he got drafted.
Yeah.
He hyped up the rest of his sons.
You need Pops to go to bat for you, man. And he gave them that structure and that discipline. That's what you need with that man in the house. Because you got a strong man in the house. My Pops, he instructed the discipline, the structure that's needed. Right? That's the same thing that the Ball brothers Pops did. That's the same thing that the Jacksons, that Joe did for the Jacksons. That structure, that discipline, and the dedication is like, yo, he made them make it. You got to be this way because we going to make it. We ain't going to be broke no more.
Yeah,
we
he
ain't
was smacking
eating
them
off
upside
no
their
paper
heads too.
plates today.
He was smacking them upside their heads too, though. I get where you coming from, Solomon.
Yeah.
Hey, even Bob Marley. Y'all ever heard the Marley brothers talk about their daddy?
Nah,
He ain't play. He used to throw soccer balls at him.
yeah.
Swing it, you know what I mean?
It's like smacking a ball head. You did that note wrong.
And see, when you're dealing with boys, of course, it's a little different. You kind of sometimes you have to kind of have it. You know, with the girls, you don't have to be as rough like that. But with the boys, sometimes you kind of do. But this is why I believe with young boys, like you don't have to be. If you get the job done at a young age, that discipline, like Solomon is talking about, that structure lifestyle, that it'll become a part of them, especially like around after 7 years old. It becomes a part of them. But I think what made these fathers different, including the Lamar brothers, let's talk about him, because he talked a lot of stuff about them. But when you look at them talk about their lifestyle was work. We was coming home, we was doing homework, and then we was shooting. We doing this. You doing 100. If they're doing 100 free throws, you need to do 1,000. Because if you can get 1,000 done, then you can go to bed. There are some parents that they literally expect greatness, and I mean there are those thin lines where it can get a little crazy, but we have to acknowledge the fact, like Solomon said, it's something about these parents. They are able to create greatness that we usually become, enjoyers of. I was even thinking about Kendrick Lamar father. I mean, he talked about it. He talked about, man, where would I be if it wasn't for my father? You remember when he was talking about how one of the guys who he worked with in the studio was robbing KFC and his daddy was working there at that time and all of that stuff. It's something about when you have that male figure, and I agree with you, Solomon. Maybe this is one of the things we missing that has changed this generation to be a little bit more timid or a little bit more softer or a little bit more hesitant on certain things. There ain't nobody that was like that. If you don't go jump in that water, well, I'm scared. What if I drown? Jump. Just jump. Like, I'll never forget. It was like that with me. I was riding my bike.
You need to make the jump.
I knew I was gonna die. And he was just like, I'm gonna let you go. And he let me go. And I thought he was the worst father in the world for that. But that day I realized I could do this. Like, I could really do this. I had to get my feelings hurt, though. I had to get my feelings hurt.
So, it be like that sometimes.
It be like that sometimes.
And I was just saying, like, when it came to that whole LeVar thing, after he hyped them up, right, on ESPN and all that stuff, some of the other media was tearing him down, like, he need to shut up. He need to be quiet. Why is he talking so much for his sons and all this other stuff, right? So he hyped them up. And then once they all got to where they needed to be, do we see him in the media anymore?
Oh, he did his job.
He did his part.
He did his job.
Got him. Look, that's all you need to do. Do your job. His job was to get them in there. And I'm sure he had motivational talks and smacks across the head to let them know, like, yo, this is your future. This is your future. Basketball. You know how much they paying? Millions, billions. This is it. You just gotta get there.
I would love to see and hear what he said to Leangelo once he had got arrested for stealing in China. I would have loved to see what he said to him.
Boy, he probably ain't say nothing to him. He probably just automatically, boy, we didn't pay this file.
He pulled the belt out. He was up there like,
you thought you was too old?
You know what's up?
Better than this.
He said, go up in there and turn the music up real loud.
Hey, y'all remember when I don't know if I'm the only person, but you know how it was growing up. You knew you did something to school, teacher called your parents, and then your mom was on that phone, be like, oh, okay, yeah, so we're gonna handle that when you get home. And it was like a shot in the heart.
Yeah, you just knew you gotta sit there and think about it.
I don't need to go home no more.
You on the
bus, and then don't let your father be in the house, because it's like she gonna go ahead and delegate that ass whooping to the father.
You won't get it. Oh yeah,
man. All right.
What we got?
What was there anything that you wanted to talk about Israel before I
Yeah, I
move to
wanted
ask
to
the Pharaohs?
hit real quick before we add to Pharaohs. This season we are now into this season for the Coptic season for our fellow Copts. It is the season of atonement. We can't forget that. Okay, we have entered the season of atonement, and the atonement usually happens around now up until the next 7 weeks. I think ending. Let me look at the calendar real quick. Dang, this is a bad calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to say April. I don't know. Next 7 weeks. I'm gonna have to retouch on that. But yeah, the atonement. That's another per se Passover that some Coptic temples and churches recognize or partake in. And the atonement is basically like when people, it's like the renewing. When people removing a lot of obstacles and recommitting your dedication to I am that I am God. So I'm gonna say just be short on that because my church does not partake in the atonement, but I know there are a couple of temples that do, and they got a pretty interesting season or when it comes to atonement because I remember going to the temple, man. It was my first time there. I was in for I didn't even know what I was in for because this is back when the emperor was alive, and I believe that's the last one that he did when he was alive. Of course, that was the last one that I went to, and it was like the service was amazing. There was so much going on. I ain't know like when it was ending, what time it started, but it was a lot to impact up in there. And service ain't into like I want to say 3:30, 4 o'clock, but it was like one of those services that kind of wow you, where you like, yo, this really happened. The march, then they came in with this, and it just put a lot in perspective with the season and what's done. And we're gonna have to get somebody on here that partake in the atonement during the season.
Where everybody at? Tell them come on right now.
I know, right? I don't know where they at. I gotta do my research. But, get somebody from the temple up in here. You know, I'm sure one of the temples, true temple of peace, faith, and love, or the true temple of Solomon, you know. And hey, you keep running on. That's how we continue to live in this nation, in the Coptic nation, and the land. Keep running on and bringing what your people started. Keep that banner rolling. Keep it flying.
All right.
Keep that train going. But that's what I got to say on that.
All right, we definitely gonna keep an update on the atonement and see when is the service? Is it
Well, I know it's the next 7 weeks, but the next 7 weeks they got something going on for
every week.
Every week. So I would say get into
my first atonement was also at the temple, so
that was the ones that I know mainly was having it, but that was like I don't even know what year it was back when the emperor was alive, and it was immaculate. Like I was blown out of my mind, and I was just a young first prince. I wasn't even royal yet, but yeah.
Hey, I think I want to do like a challenge or something where we talk about all the leaders that came before us, like to shed some, like just give them a spotlight of our memories, either going to a church or something like service or something like that. I think that'd be cool.
Dude, we can put it on the agenda.
Well, family, y'all know this is my favorite segment of the podcast, and it's Ask the Pharaohs time. And so we got 2 questions today, fellas. And the first question comes from Kayla. And her
Okay.
question is it selfish um for her to be upset that she didn't get flowers on Valentine's Day, even though she had got flowers a week before?
I think you had asked us this question too, didn't you?
Did she
Did I?
see them? It's so much to ask here. Like, did she see them on Valentine's Day? That's the question. Did she see them after Valentine's Day, which is like National Side Chick Day? Like, are you the side chick? Like,
So she saw her date um on Valentine's Day.
okay.
But she gave her flowers the week before. She gave her flowers the week before. So on Valentine's Day, she didn't get flowers. She said she was very upset and she didn't get no candy and no flowers. So she was upset, but they had went out to dinner and then they went to an escape room. But she ain't on Valentine's Day, but she's saying she's very upset because she ain't get the flowers. So is she saying that she's selfish?
Either selfish or greedy, because it's a two-way street at this point. Like, you want flowers last week and you flowers this week. Like, look, the pay week, it ain't no telling how often they getting paid. Maybe last week they had money for flowers, and this week they have money for the escape room and food. Like, you got to pick your poisons. Like, come on now. Now, when you loving who you loving on, they gonna understand. They gonna understand. Okay. I think you're selfish because you didn't get them nothing. I can't believe it. You thinking about yourself here. Why you ain't get them nothing? That's why you ain't get nothing.
She said she did though. She said she gave
The
her
day
flowers.
she ain't get no flowers because she ain't give no flowers.
She said she gave her some flowers.
She gave flowers the week before, but didn't get flowers.
Right. She gave
Well, she got
Kayla.
that
So
room and everything.
Kayla received the flowers the week before Valentine's Day. But
Okay.
on Valentine's Day, she didn't get flowers.
Well, she
So
got flowers last week. What? Come on now. Look, they probably had to do something with the rest of the money the week but you got flowers last week and you want flowers this week too. Like, and then I'm taking you out to eat. We going to an escape room. You gonna eat the food? What? I can buy you chocolate tomorrow. Then you want chocolate? Like,
she
come
said
on.
she said she had to meet her halfway though, because she lives in the date lived in Alpharetta and she lived somewhere else. So it was like halfway they met up together.
It's a
And
two-way street. You know, you gotta work around right. What you want me to go all now? There's traffic. Now we talking about traffic. Okay, if I ain't get off work on time, you want me to come all the way from Alpharetta to all the way wherever you at and spend all the time. No, we gonna spend time in traffic and cut time for me. Come on now. You take it over. Somebody gotta take it for you.
So Lucas, she's selfish for that. This is a different girl though. The other person you was talking about was Samira. She was talking about the Christmas gifts. This is Valentine's Day with Kayla.
Israel just went off. I don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say. I would have to say, yeah, you might be tripping just a little bit. Well, not even just a little bit. Yeah, you tripping. It's about the affection. You know, maybe like it could have been a situation to where that time worked out best, whether it was financially, you know, or maybe that was the whole strategy was to go ahead and get you the flowers before, so there can be money for you to enjoy the activities that was planned on the actual day. You know, don't get caught up in stuff like that. You're gonna find yourself being lonely, getting caught up in stuff like that, because you have to understand affection is shown in many different ways. But anytime somebody spend money on you or they take time to spend money on you, they probably care about you, because money ain't something that we just get out of nowhere. So maybe the plan was to do the traditional flowers the week before and then to have money for the escape room and for the activities as well as for the transportation just to meet you halfway. Maybe that was the actual plan. And if that was the plan, you should be happy with that because somebody was thinking about you enough to make a plan. Somebody was thinking about you enough to say, this is the best way that I can do it, but I'm not gonna make an excuse. I'm just gonna be a little unique in the way that I do it. So you might have to look at it that way. Like maybe it was the factor of what needed to be done in order just to enjoy the full day. Would you rather got flowers one week and then flowers the next week and then just, hey, here go flowers. Okay, I'll see you again in a week. Something had to be sacrificed. Money don't grow on trees. And if you enjoyed your Valentine's Day because y'all went out and that was your flowers. There you go. That was your flowers.
She claims she ain't enjoyed it. They ended up cutting the date short.
That's
I would cut the date short too, because now you got a stank attitude.
You was upset. Life is not Disney movies. You're not supposed to walk up all the time and there's this big bouquet of flowers for you, okay? It's not gonna always be that way. But like I said, you got to give it to that person because they did think to give you flowers the week before, and that probably was the last time that they saw you. If y'all are that far away from each other, so hey, things like that happen. But like I said, you should be grateful that somebody was even thinking about you because there are a lot of people that didn't have nobody trying to meet up with them at all on Valentine's Day.
A lot of people went to work and came home to nobody. Crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
I would have cut the day short. My dog having kittens. I gotta go.
Okay.
Man, y'all tripping. I'm gonna say she wasn't being selfish. I asked for what I asked for. You better give me what I asked for. No, I'm playing. This is a unanimous. Kayla, you tripping, girl. It's not that deep. Sometimes you have to live in the moment and appreciate what someone does for you. I know it was Valentine's Day, but think about it like this. It's a made-up holiday. It's not even real. What if I told you? Okay, so it's like it's not even a big deal. Think about it like this. Would you want to always do something because somebody else is doing it? Do everybody want to be married on the same day? Do everybody want to be proposed to on the same day because somebody else proposed that same day? Always cherish the spontaneous things of a person because that is how they truly feel on the inside. They're not being motivated by an outside or external source. They are motivated internally, and she wanted to give you those flowers on a random day. So you be happy about that random day. And then when it came to Valentine's Day, enjoy the dinner and enjoy the escape room and whatever could have led up after that. You didn't get to because you were being a little bit of a brat.
Next question.
Our next question comes from little bro. His name is Zaire.
Zaire.
Zaire. Yeah. So he asked, just generalizing, how do we stay focused when it comes to completing a goal? He said he struggles sometimes with being focused. So how do we be focused, fellas?
Go ahead, Israel. Break that down for him.
I think what helps is writing it down. So what I do, I write stuff down. Let me see. I actually got one of my notebooks here where I used to write my goals down a lot. But I write. You can do it multiple ways where you write your goals down every day. Trying to get to. I think this is the one. Yeah, there we go. You can write your goals out every day. I got like different days that I done wrote stuff down. Yeah, sneak peek. Yeah, we writing stuff down every day, whether it's a different date and look at it. Or I also have a whiteboard. The whiteboard lets me know where I'm at. Like on the whiteboard, I got personal goals, professional goals, financial goals, and then it's some things on there. Give me a hot second. I think I got like agenda of the week or something like that. Something to keep me focused where I can see it. Got a big whiteboard, probably about the size of like this, over in my kitchen area. So I see it every day. And then it lets me know where I'm at, what I need to focus on, what I need to clear off. And then as I progress and check off the goals, I line it out or I erase that goal. So I know that that's done. And then I see what I need to do next. But having to visualize, having like a paper or a board or a notebook where you write your goals down and you look at it every day, or at least once a week or something, write it out and you think about it, put it on your phone, look at it. So it keeps you focused every day and in every way.
Hey man, that's what's up, man. Hey, so since Israel came from that way, and like Solomon said, you probably, you one of the bros or one of the little bros. Israel came to you from that aspect of it, so I'm gonna come a little different because I do the same thing that he does. I'm definitely big on writing stuff down. But before I really got to where writing stuff down was actually effective in my life, you're gonna probably have to go through a mindset type of situation or change, and you're gonna have to learn how to distinguish the difference between distractions and self-sabotaging activities. What you may be thinking are distractions are just actually self-sabotaging activities that you've gotten used to condoning in. Now, these can come in many ways. It can come with maybe a family member calling you and asking you to do something, or it can come with a spouse and they need you to do this, or they need that, or they need this, and they're just so used to you being always available. You have to be able to examine yourself and see how available are you to yourself before all of these other things around you. It could be the video game, it could be hanging out with your buddies, it could be eating, it could be anything. But you have, before really writing it down is going to help you. You can write it down all day long. The question is, are you going to do it? That's really where it comes to being like not distracted. Meaning, I got a goal, nothing is going to get in the way. And as soon as you make that goal, trust me, there are going to be things that start coming up that seem important. That's really how it goes. If you ain't moving nowhere, you ain't going to create no waves. I can promise you that. But as soon as you get them moving, all of these friction starts coming. That's good. But the goal is to be able to tell the friction, I see you, but get out of my way. I don't have time for you. I got to get this done. And then what you'll start finding is that once you then get to the whiteboard, you're actually making checks on the whiteboard. You don't want to take Israel advice, write everything out for the day, then come back before you go to bed and you ain't got nothing done. To be honest with you, Zaire, what I would do if I was you, and this is kind of difficult. I did this around when I was around 23, between 23 and 25. I was on and off doing it, but it showed me a lot of how I was wasting time. If you can keep some kind of like little small piece of paper, like how we got the little notebooks and all of that, we got like the little papers and stuff. What you want to really start doing is logging everything you're doing, every phone call you're making, every decision you're making, and what time you're making it. Every time something changes, you pull out that paper and you write it down. Then at the end of the day, you go and you really look at what you did that day. You're going to realize that 70% of the stuff you did had nothing to do with getting any of the goals that you had set done. It's usually like that. It's like that for everybody. We commonly find distractions because things come up in life. But the best way to be successful, the ones who are the most successful, are the ones who are able to tell those distractions, you either got to wait or get out of my way completely. And if you can't wait, you don't deserve my attention in the first place, because you got to focus on yourself first before you can help anybody else, or you can indulge in any activity that you may truly like to do. You got to be able to handle your business first. And then that whiteboard, you'll start checking stuff off. There are a lot of people that write stuff down all day long. That's what I'm saying. What Israel giving you is great. I do the same thing. But it took me to get to a discipline level mindset for the whiteboard to even make sense. Other than that, I was just drawing and it felt good. Like the people who say they want to be millionaires, go buy 10 millionaire books, but never do anything. Like, don't be that. Don't let all the life's distractions keep you from what you really need to do. Get your mind mentally disciplined. And all of these things that you think are distractions, you're going to really start seeing they did not mean nothing to what you have going on and what you need to get done. So that's my take on it.
I was going to put it plain and simple, Zaire, and that is get tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Tunnel vision,
It worked.
Keep a tunnel vision.
Mission.
Yeah, keep a tunnel vision, because the distractions is what will take away from you completing your task. You yourself being undisciplined and letting a distraction distract you. Like, we have to understand is that the power that we have is us, is ours, and we can't let someone else come into our life to distract us, or you can't let situations deter you from completing your goal. And I'm gonna just put it plain and simple as that. All right, fellas. Anything else before we get up out of here?
Nah, but I want some of the people. We gonna have to do a segment where y'all call in, y'all talk to us. Let's talk to some of the people. We want to engage with y'all a little bit more. So maybe we could try to set that up, fellas, where we get some callers, some random callers in or something like that. And if not, I'm gonna start calling people myself. Just call them. Just call them.
Hey, I got the aux cord right here. I'm ready to plug it up to the to the computer so we can talk to y'all.
Yeah, facts. And like Israel said, we walking into that atonement period. We walking into that springtime, that cleansing period, getting ready for the real new year. That's
that new.
Yes, sir.
So y'all talking about that vernal equinox?
Man, getting ready.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm dropping a book around that time. Dropping a book around that time. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's this month.
Which will be next month, sir. March 21st. There are only 9 numbers.
That's crazy.
I'm coming with you with some numerology this time. See, I didn't hit them with the facts, the questions, you know what I'm saying? Question and answer. Then I hit them with some nation building. Now I got to give y'all some numbers because things are, I want to say, systematic. Okay, there's a certain symmetry of how you should be moving if you know yourself. We're still knowing ourselves. This is what was the first thing in the class school of wisdom? You getting taught back to yourself. Well, numbers is a thing you need to work with. Luke work with them all the time. Okay, so we need to understand that in business and making money and all of these writing of these books, I strategically release these books on certain days because I need a certain frequency and a certain spirit to work with me. But that's enough. I ain't gonna talk about nothing else. All right, family, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Can y'all hear me good? Y'all straight? All right, thank you for joining us on episode 40 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon, and you can find me on Facebook at Cornelius Solomon Walker. You can find me on Instagram at CJWalker103. You see that go a number right there. And you can also email me if you want a book to be published at cwalker1582@gmail.com. Israel, where can people find you?
Y'all can find me on my email. You can find me on my website, JonathanJohnson621.com. You can find me on the Pharaohs Podcast.
Luke, where can people find you?
Yep. You can find me at Luke733, lead at number 9@gmail.com. As y'all can see, we work with that number 9 over here. You heard me. But even Israel got it up in there. I seen it in there.
Hey, oh wait, I just noticed that. Hold on, bro. Wait.
We working with the highest.
Okay, so we got the numbers for me, right? So I got 1, 0, and 3. Okay. 0 is a number, but I'm gonna explain that in my book. We got the number 7, the 3, 2 3s, and a 9 for Luke. Okay, and then we got the 6, 2, 1 for Israel. I just noticed we got all these numbers over here.
Yeah. 6 plus 2 plus 1 is what?
9. My boy. Divine 9. You heard me? We gonna have to make that a series, the Divine 9 series.
Hey. Yes,
all right, family. And if you can't see us or join us live, we are also on Spotify. Shout out to the Spotify subscribers and listeners. We are growing on there as well.
We are growing.
So check us out. If y'all can't sit at home and y'all can't turn us on your TV at the moment, We are also on Spotify. You can download Spotify, type in the Pharaohs Podcast, and we are on there as well. All right, family. Thank you, like I say, for joining us. This was great. Peace.
Peace.